In this video, I'm going to be discussing one and done fountain pens. What I think are ultimately the best fountain pens that could be your one and only fountain pen. Coming up. One and done fountain pens. I'm picking pens here from a couple of different categories, and these are going to be pens that I think, could absolutely be your one and done fountain pen. You have one, you don't need any more. So first up, I'm going to start with the affordable category, and for that, I'm going to pick the Lamy Safari. This probably is of no surprise to anyone. I've been using fountain pens for over 20 years, and I still use my Lamy Safari all the time. They have been making these since the 1980s, and it's a very comfortable pen. It comes in a lot of colors. There are a lot of nib types. You can use it with cartridge or converter, and it's just a fantastic pen. Really nice calligraphy nibs, 1.1, 1.5, 1.9 millimeter stubs. They have a left-handed nib. They have a nib for beginners, for people who are just learning to write. There are so many options with this pen, and it just works. It's a fantastic everyday pen. You really can have pretty much the full fountain pen experience with this pen, the Lamy Safari, for $30. So this could absolutely be your only pen. The next category I'm going to is modern design, and for this category, we're actually staying with Lamy. Lamy as a pen brand, I think more than any other brand, has a strong focus on industrial design and working with some of the most famous industrial designers in the world. Now, for this list, I'm actually picking two from the same designer, Gerd A. Mueller. He worked with Braun previously, or Brown, depending on how you say it. At the same time, Dieter Rams was there. He has a very minimalistic modern design, and this model is the CP1. These go for about $60. You have a metal body. It's basically just a straight cylinder. It's a matte black finish, and we have this very, very solid spring-loaded block-like brushed stainless steel clip. Snap cap snaps onto the back here. I never get tired of looking at this pen. I do have a weird, I think they called it a calligraphy nib on here, but it takes the same nibs, same cartridges as the Safari, and it also has its own converter, which fits this pen, although this pen has a different converter which doesn't fit this pen, so it doesn't go both ways, but it's essentially the same system. And then next up is, again, same designer, same company, Lamy 2000. I still think this is one of the best design pens ever. The looks, they're modern, whether you like them or not. It is more polarizing. This has a fiberglass body here, and again, a similar solid steel brushed spring-loaded clip, snap cap. This time we're getting a piston filling system and a solid 14 karat gold nib. This brushed trim at the end here. This pen can be completely disassembled without any tools. They sell parts for this pen, so if something broke or you wanted to change a nib, you have that option. Both of these pens, I believe, are from the 60s. This is from the 80s. I believe all of these lines, certainly the Safari and the 2000, Lamy will continue to produce in perpetuity, and I hope they do the same for the CP1. Next up, traditional style pen. I'm going with the Pelikan M200, and I'll also throw in the M400 here. The difference between these two is the main one is the price, but the 400 has nicer trim, and you get a solid 14 karat gold versus a gold-plated steel nib here. This is essentially a design Pelikan has been making since the 1950s with the 400, and you'll still find used, vintage 400s floating out there. They are very well made. They have a very reliable piston filling system. The nibs are threaded and interchangeable. These are really good workhorse pens. It's something that could be your only pen. They have fantastic nibs. I actually do prefer the 200, the steel nibs, to the gold ones in this line of Pelikan. Just great workhorses, very comfortable, something that you could be satisfied with as your only pen. It's about 170 roughly for a M200. They come in a lot of different colors and finishes. And then the M400, depending on where you get it, $400 to $500 is where these tend to go. I kind of point people this way, but there's some appeal to it. Obviously, these look quite a bit different. You might like the look of this better than this pen, and that could be enough to sway you. And you do get a gold nib, even though I still like these ones better. Anyway, the other ones I don't have, but I'm going to just list as a traditional alternative if the Pelican look is not to your taste and you want something, I don't want to say generic, but maybe more Mont Blanc-like from the big three Japanese brands. So that would be the Pilot Custom 743, the Platinum 3776, or the Sailor 1911 Large. They will be very reliable. They will all be cartridge or converter. Now, there is the Pilot Custom 823, which people love. That's a vacuum filler. I would never pick that because I don't like vacuum fillers, but if you're a vacuum filler person, that could be an option. I would always go cartridge with the big three, pretty much. There is also the Sailor 1911 Rialo Lard, which is a piston filling system. Those pens are pricier than the M200, getting closer to the M400 price, probably $400 to $500 is where those tend to be these days. You do get gold nibs, but for me, if I had to pick one as my traditional, I would probably pick this, but any of them could be absolutely your one and done pen. Next up, I'm going to call it the luxury category. For this, it's not going to be a surprise to anyone. I'm picking the Aurora 88 or Aurora Optima. The Aurora Optima is, if you've watched this channel, you know my favorite pen. This is just the pen that feels the best in my hand. It is very well made, family owned company since I believe 1919. They make everything, including the nibs, in house. These are really good pens. You know, I've had many of them. Through my own error, not any fault of the pen, I've broken it. I've sent pens to Aurora to have them fixed. They always take care of it. This is just the sweet spot for me. The market on these has changed a little bit. You know, you can find these new, I want to say around $500, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more depending on the finish. And it's the same for the 88. The 88 is essentially the exact same pen, just a different shape, but exact same grip section, exact same nib, exact same filling system. Also posts very nicely. Yeah, if I really had to have just one, it would be this pen. Other alternatives that I would consider if these are not to your taste, if you like a softer nib, I highly recommend the Pelican M800 line. These nibs are very special, more so than the 400 in my opinion. These are very soft and bouncy. These are really, really nice nibs. Piston filling system. Do have some metal in the back here, so these are getting a little bit heavier compared with the other pens we've seen so far, so that is one thing to consider. And then I don't have one, but if I had to recommend just one Mont Blanc as your one and done pen, it won't actually be my favorite, which is the 149. It'll be the 146 because I think that is more versatile for traveling. I pretty much never travel with my 149s. They're just big and fat, whereas the 146 is more in line with this pen, and I think that gives you the most comfort as well if you wanted to go the Mont Blanc route. But again, these are 500 to 600-ish depending on the finish. The Mont Blanc I want to say is like 850, and I want to say the Pelican M800 is more in the 700, 750 range. Now in terms of quality, they're all pretty equal. These have interchangeable nibs where the Mont Blanc does not. So that's a negative for the Mont Blanc. I also like the look of these pens better than the 146, at least the modern 146. So that is that for the luxury option. Now I'm doing one oddball one, which is what I'm calling the non-plastic option. All of these are plastic for the most part. This is metal, though plastic grip section. This is fiberglass, but otherwise they're all plastic, which is the most common material for a pen, and honestly, it is the best material just from a comfort perspective. But if you're somebody that said, I don't like plastic, plastic is doesn't feel luxurious to me, I highly recommend the Graf von Faber-Castell Classic fountain pen. This is an older version of it with the silver plated cap and finial, which is why this is patinaed. But the new ones have a platinum plate, but they have beautiful wood bodies, which age really nicely. And then here we have the platinum plated grip section, which is sort of what the caps would be like on the newer ones. Beautiful 18 karat gold nib, cartridge converter, but just a very solid pen. They've made these for a long time. It's called the Classic. This is a very reliable everyday pen, and these go for $600 to $500 depending on the finish. And this would be sort of my pick if plastic pens were off of the table. It just could be the one and done. It's super well made. There's a great company behind it, one that's not going anywhere. They've been around since the 1700s. So those are my top one and done fountain pens in various categories. What would be your one and done fountain pen? Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this video, please hit that like button, and if you want to see more fountain pen paper and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.